What led to the decision for you guys to pursue Russell Wilson, and what do you expect for him to add to the team this year?
You know, when the free agency process began, we only had one quarterback on our roster, and so we were looking at every available person on the market or every potentially available person on the market, and so it was just part of our process. Obviously, when we got into it, and after he got permission to talk to other teams from Denver, the conversations were very fluid and natural. He did his appropriate research on us, and I think that's probably was one of the more impressive things about the process from my perspective. His level of preparedness in terms of knowing us and who we are and how he might potentially fit just really put an ease over the process. Obviously, you know, we anticipated it kind of being a competitive market. I think he went to New York prior to coming to our place, and so we're pleased that it was able to come together. But how it was initiated was just in a very routine way in terms of us acknowledging we only had one guy at the position and scouring everyone in the market. I think that's another component of the discussion as well. We did our due diligence and looked at all possibles in the market, and I think that's probably what led us to discussions and interactions with Chicago, and thus ended up with both guys.
Yeah, you pivoted from Kenny to Fields. If you could just maybe briefly discuss that, and also what do you expect Fields to bring to your team?
Yeah, you know, in the days following our acquisition of Russell, Kenny expressed a desire for a change of scenery. As I had mentioned, we had been in pretty fluid communication with Chicago. After we got a sense of what direction that was going, then the dominoes started to fall, and we did the transactions necessary to kind of send Kenny to Philly and acquire Justin. We're excited about the guys that we have in Russell and Justin, man, and just really can't wait to get started.
Mike, in terms of Justin, where did you see how Philly kind of gave you the confidence that he still has more to give than he said he's going to Chicago?
Oh my gosh, man! He oozes talent and potential. He's worn the responsibility of being a franchise quarterback, but still he gets an opportunity to come into a community-like situation and learn from a guy that's been doing it for over a decade. Man, there's a lot of meat left on that bone, man. I'm just excited about working to be a part of extracting it.
Coach, ideally, do you do that in a situation where you like to have Justin kind of sit and learn this whole year, or continue to see in that competition?
No, we're not resistant to competition, but as I've mentioned several times of late, I just think it's appropriate to establish positioning as we get into this thing. And the term that I've used is Russell has pole position. And why do I use that term? Because during this time where we're not formally working, man, I just think it's beneficial. His experience in the National Football League, his process that's been honed and perfected, talking about over a 12-month calendar, is not only good for him, it's good for teams. It's good for receivers, tight ends, running backs, etc. All the things that people that are really committed to winning do this time of year. Russell has those resources, man, that structure, and so that's why I say he has pole position, man. It just creates a synergy that I think is good for this time of year. When it's time to compete, we get in training camp-like settings and going to preseason stadiums and so forth. Obviously, Justin will be given an opportunity to show his capabilities.
Mike, when you went back and watched the film with Justin last year, did you feel like the Bears put him in the best position to succeed?
I'm not judging anything that was done in Chicago. That's not my business. I just look at the pedigree of the talent, the things that are not relative to coaching.
Mike, with that talent meshing with Arthur Smith would like to do, is that one reason why these two quarterbacks fit?
Absolutely. You know, their skill set fits into the vision of what we're trying to get done, and so I'm excited from that perspective, certainly.